Welcome to the Wolves Den and another action figure review. Today we are taking a look at the Star Wars Black Series 40th Anniversary Jawa figure. And we have the Jawa figure on his nice 40th anniversary card. Hasbro did a really nice job in recreating that vintage look. So they look just like the figures did on the card back in the 70s and 80s. The only difference is you've got the 40th anniversary symbol up there and the choking hazard warning down there, which the original cards, of course, did not have. So they do give a nice nostalgic feeling when you see them hanging there on the shelves and racks and whatnot. But as much as I like the looks of them, I do open my figures, so let's open up this Jawa and take a closer look at him. Taking a look at his articulation, his head does rotate all the way around. And then he can look down that far. He can't look up at all, though. At the shoulders, his arm raised that high, about 90 degrees, but then he does have full rotation, so he can go all the way around like that. Single bend at the elbow, and his elbows do rotate also. His wrists rock in and out, and they do have full rotation. He can rotate completely at the torso. And his legs do have some articulation. His feet do have rocker ankles, so those can move up and down and all the way around. But any other articulation is very limited because of his plastic cloak here. There's really no way of bending his knees or anything else, even though it is there. Taking a closer look at the sculpt of the figure, they did a really nice job on the sculpt of the cloak. It does look really nice. In fact, when I first saw images of the figure, I thought it was a cloth cloak. I didn't realize it was all plastic. You can see his two little beady yellow eyes in there. Long pointed hood. He's got a nice holster for his gun here. I'll get more to that later, but that's all attached to the straps on him. So as near as I can tell, the holster or any of this stuff does not come off. A couple nice pouches there. Some more pouches on his bandolier here. Nicely shaded. Even the little buttons are painted in. Nice texture on the cloak. It definitely looks, like a cloth cloak. And the texture feels really nice. So they did a really nice job. They even kind of shaded in the lower parts of his cloak that would be dragging through the sand, because it looks sandy. It looks a little dirty down there. So that was a really nice job. The nice wrappings on his feet there. Really good job overall in the sculpt of this figure. The Jawa does come with two guns. The first one I mentioned earlier is the one that holsters into his back here. And the holster is really nice at holding the gun in place. Just kind of slides right out like so. It's caught on something here. There we go. And it's a really nice looking gun. Only problem with it is it's kind of a soft plastic, so the barrel can easily kind of warp out of place. As you can see, I'm kind of rotating it very easily here, so it can get kind of warped. So it does not fit very well in his hand, to be honest. And it really only fits in his right hand. The left hand, I can't get it to fit very well at all. The right hand's pretty rough as it is too. And because of the way his cloak is, the sleeves are kind of molded all flayed out, it pushes the gun into an awkward position. So you can kind of see it's kind of pointed off to the side there, and even the, like I mentioned, the barrel's kind of out of shape, so it's pointing down a little bit. But that's about the best you're going to get the gun in his hand. And then it just pops right out. So that gun's a bit disappointing in as well as he holds it. And he's got another gun here. It's really nice looking also. Kind of this gunmetal color. And this one he holds better in his hand. Oop. Like so. But just because of the way it's shaped, he can't point it straight really unless his arms are down like so. So I'm not sure if that's what he's supposed to do, but if you try to put him arm pointing straight out, you know, he's pointing the gun just directly in the air. So it's kind of an awkward gun for him to hold. I'm not sure how he's supposed to hold it or shoot it. I mean, that's the only way he can hold it that I can tell. So how he's supposed to shoot it, I guess, is beyond me. I do have a little addendum. I have finished recording the review, but after the fact I was monkeying around with his guns a bit more, seeing if I could fit them better in his hands, and I actually found a way to fit this gun better in his hand. And what you have to do is you have to put his thumb through the hole, which is a little counterintuitive, but if you do that, he actually holds it quite well. Doesn't fall out so easily, and he can hold it straight. So while it's not what you should normally do, it actually fits in his hand better and looks okay. No real problems there. So ultimately it doesn't change what you'll see next, which is, you know, my final thoughts. It helps a little bit, but it still doesn't really change my view of the figure. So with that said, let's get on to my final thoughts. Jawas are some of my favorite alien races in Star Wars, and so I was really excited to finally get these Black Series figures. And upon, you know, opening them out of the package and preparing for this review, I just became so very disappointed, because the figure looks very good. They did an excellent job on the sculpt, all the paint apps, everything looks really nice. It's a very good looking figure. It's just everything else about him is just so very disappointing. His articulation is very limited, and he can't even hold his weapons. And that's just so disappointing. And I think all of that would be so much more improved if instead of a sculpted plastic cloak, he had a fabric cloak, kind of like the very original vintage Jawa did. I don't know how that would look, but I know it would improve at least the problems that I have with this figure. So I don't know if they'll ever re-release this figure, remake this figure. I highly doubt it. But if they do, I hope they go with a fabric cloak and just kind of remold the figure. I think it would turn out so much better. As it is, like I said, I really like the looks of this figure, but just everything else is just so poorly executed. It's very disappointing to me. With that, I hope you enjoyed this review, and I hope to see you again soon for some more action figure reviews. Until then, thanks for watching.